Hi everyone, in this video we're going to look at how to use MyLabs Plus. Will apologize once again in advance about the length of the video. I'm sure this will probably be about 15 minutes long and you will probably hear my cat making noise in the background. To get to MyLabs Plus for the first time, you're going to want to log into Moodle and then scroll down to the course resource section. You'll see a link that says MyLabs Plus. Click on the MyLabs Plus website, and this will make sure that you get to the right website. Notice that it says MyLabs Plus for Mitchell Community College and that our symbol is over here. You're going to want to do this for the first time that you log in and then save it either through creating a shortcut or a bookmark. That way you don't have to log into Moodle every single time you want to get into MyLabs Plus. You're not going to want to just Google MyLabs Plus for Mitchell, because every community college, and actually any college that uses MyLabs Plus, has their own server with their own unique web address. You'll notice that our URL up here is kind of weird. It's not like mylabsplus.mitchell or anything like that. So sometimes it's really hard to find through, say, a Google search. When you get there and you go to log in, your login information is going to be the same information that you use for WebAdvisor. So it's usually first initial, middle initial, last name, that first part of your email address, but you don't have to put in the @students. If you've used MyLabs Plus before, it's whatever, the password's whatever you've changed it to. If you've never used it before, it's your birthday, where it's a 2-digit month, 2-digit day, and I think it's a 4-digit year. If that doesn't work, try a 2-digit year. If none of that works, try forgot your password. And if your email never comes to you, to your Mitchell email, let me know and we can get that straightened out. But once you get logged in, it is going to show you a box, hopefully. Notice I have this reminder up here. You may or may not see anything if you haven't taken courses with us before, or maybe it's been a while, so you might have to hit the refresh and you'll see Spring 2019 pop up. If you're taking more than one math class that requires MyLabs Plus, you should see more than one box, but you're probably just in the one. Click on that. Now my screen's going to look a little bit different than your landing page. I'm going to change it over when I get in there. Even then it won't be exactly like what you see. You'll land on this landing page. Now I'm pretty sure in between you clicking on the box and you getting to this landing page, it's going to prompt you either for a credit card number or an access code. If you are not ready to buy the access code, and you don't have an access code already from the school where you maybe purchased it from the bookstore or ordered it online through the bookstore, then you can do pay for it later and you'll get 2 weeks free. If you do the 2 weeks free, don't panic after 2 weeks if you can't buy it, like if you need an extra couple of days. You won't be able to log in and do any more work, but all your work is still there and safe. So if after 14 days you have to take a little bit of a break and you can't buy it until, like, say, the 20th day of the course, all your work is still in there. You're just not going to be able to do anything in between when the time expired and when you're willing to give them your money. Speaking of giving them money, they are a little bit cheaper if you just give them your credit card number online than going to the bookstore at Mitchell Community College. Do not, however, buy it from Amazon. Nobody at Amazon, and really hardly anybody at Pearson in general, really knows what is going on with the MyLabs Plus platform. It's hyper micromanaged, so you can't just go to MyLabs, put like MyLabs Plus in Amazon and think you're going to get something that works. The codes are for the book for each school, so if you buy it off of Amazon, it's probably not going to work. So either buy it from the Mitchell Community College bookstore or put your credit card in once you log in online. All right, so once you get all set up, and now you get to see this splash page. Your page off to the side on the left is going to look a little bit different because these little people with the X's, you're not going to see that. So you won't see Manage Course, you won't see StatCrunch or Tools for Success, right? You're just going to see all of the other stuff. Once you finally get logged in, you want to go scroll down just a tiny bit and run the browser check. There's like 4 billion things that you need for this to work, so make sure that your browser check tells you that you have everything that you need. You're going to need Java, you're going to need Flash, you're going to need all that kind of fun stuff. Once that's taken care of, most of the time when you log in here, you are going to then be clicking on homework assignments. That's what it sounds like. This is where you're going to do all your homework. All the homework is open. It's in the order that you're going to do it. The due dates are off to the side. You can work ahead as much as you like. There are, like you saw in the course tour video, options for doing late work for the late homework. The only thing that I want you to remember is that that lab quiz that I talked about in the course tour is all the way down at the bottom here. It's just the way that MyLabs Plus is set up. It wouldn't let me move it up, so you have to scroll all the way down for the quiz. But let's talk about the homework. I'm going to scroll back up just a little bit. When you're ready to do a homework, you click on the blue link. When you click on the blue link, all the questions are going to pop up all at once. Don't panic if you see a lot of questions. I'd be much more concerned if you only see like 5, because that means each one's probably got like 4 parts. If you see a lot of questions, it probably means there's not a whole lot of calculating that needs to be done. To start doing a homework, click on the question 1, and then all these questions will open. If it's something where it's a multiple choice situation, you usually have only one attempt, right? See how it says final check? If you got it wrong on the final check, oh, I have another question here, so let me go like that. You can hit try again. Sometimes it says similar question. Notice how you have a little X over here? When we do this again, when we get it all right, this will change to an X. So let's see, what's a budget? Budget is a list of all of our income or wages. No. Coming in and how much adjustment to be made. Expenses from income. I think it's that one. How much is coming in and how much is going out? Yay! All right, so now we got to show what's cash flow. That is the difference between your expenses and your income. And the 4-step process. List income, list expenses, subtract the expenses from the income, and make adjustments. All right, so now when I hit this final check, you see how right now it's a big old X. It says, yay, got it all right, and it changes to green. You could do that a million times. Let me scoot back. If you wanted to do this again, like let's say maybe you got 2 of the 3 questions right, and you wanted to go for full credit and not just a full point, you know, this might say like 0.67 if you only got 2/3 of the question right and you want the full 1 point, then you can hit try again and try again and try again. If you get stuck, you have this question help off to the side. All of them will have Ask My Instructor and Print. So let's say you do something a couple of times and you're like, I'm just super stuck. I have no idea what's going on. When you hit Ask My Instructor, it will email me a link and I can see exactly what you're looking at. If it's a long one that you finally got right and you don't want to forget, you can print out just that one question. This is going to be pretty helpful later on when you have stuff that has a lot of steps. Let's say you've done a couple of questions and now you want to leave. You can exit out of that and you see that that's got a little question, the little check mark, and let's say you just go ahead and you sign out. I'm not going to sign out because I don't want to log back in. You come back the next day and you go into homework assignments. I want to scroll all the way down to 4A. And I can see I only did 1 question. I'm going to click on that again, but I don't have to start on question 1. I can go right to question 2. So let's say you do a whole bunch and like maybe you got number question 14 wrong and you're waiting to hear back from me about what's going on. You can skip ahead, and when I get back to you, you can just click on the question that you got wrong and then just start going again and you're all set to go. Now some questions have a little bit more going on in the question help. So if I click on this question help, you see I got to help me solve this and I view an example. I've noticed that I would say probably about 60% of the questions have a view an example and help me solve this. In the beginning chapters, in like chapters 2 and chapter 3, there's not a lot, but then all of a sudden in 8 and 9, there's a lot. So it's, you know, either there's a whole bunch or there's none. When you have the choice between a help me solve this and a view an example, start with view an example. So let's say I read this. I have the total cost per year of the following expenses. Let me get rid of this for a sentence. On an annual basis, the first set of expenses is what percent of the second? So she spends $21 on lottery and $123 on food. And you're like, I don't even know what they're asking me. You can go into view an example, and it's going to give you something that's exactly like what you have with different numbers and walk you through it. So that way you can say, oh, I can see what they want me to do, and I can kind of scoot that out of the way, or you can print out the example. Now let's say you do that and you still get it wrong. You just still have the 3 attempts on that single question, and you can keep trying, but it's not going to ever change really the view and example. The next thing that you can try is the help me solve this. What's nice about the help me solve it is that it's going to kind of walk you through this a little bit, but then it's not going to give you credit. So if you go through all of these parts, these 4 parts, and you get all of it right, it's going to say, that's really awesome. But now you got to do this one anyway. So you kind of wind up doing it twice, but at least she walks you through step by step so that you can find out what's going on with each area. I'm going to close that out. That's how all the homeworks work. They'll all have those options. Now your quiz way down here at the bottom, sorry, no help me solve it. And no view an example on the quiz because it's a quiz, but you do have 3 attempts. On the homework, you can do it a million times. You can sit there all day if you want. After homework assignments over here on the left, you see study plan. Study plan is totally optional. What it does is it looks at how you answered the homework questions and then gives you questions to practice that are based on what you did. So I've played a little bit around in 2A, and we just did a couple of questions in 4A, so it says, all right, you look like you're doing all right in here. You don't need any practice yet. But I guess I didn't do so great over in 2A, so it gave me a little quiz that I can do, some other practice about fractions and decimals that I can look at. You don't have to do any of this, but it's there if you want it. The next step down is My Grades. That's your grades for the course. Like I said in the course tour video, the My Labs Plus grade is your most accurate grade in the class. Because as soon as you do a homework, as you can see on here, it updates automatically. Moodle doesn't do that. After every week or so, I'll go in and update your homework average in Moodle, but here you can go in, 5 minutes after I pull your average and do a different homework question, and then that will change your overall grade. This is where you want to look if you want to know how well you're doing in the class. It will be pretty close to what's in Moodle because I'm going to try to stay up on it every week with your homework grades, but this is the most accurate. So if My Labs Plus says a 91 and Moodle says an 89, you got a 91. You got the A, not the B. You won't see e-text, but you will see chapter contents. Chapter contents is your ebook. I have the Student Solutions Manual open so that you can go through that if you want. You're probably not going to be reading the textbook a whole lot, but it is there if you need help. So let's say on Chapter 2, when we're starting out, you want to read a couple of examples. You go to the e-text. It will open up in a new tab, which is nice, so that way I can scoot back if I want, but it takes forever to open. So I'm going to let this do its, it's pretty fast today. All right, so it opens up to the page. Oh, I jinxed it. So I'm going to go back to this tab, and then I can scoot back. And so let's say you were working on the homework and you wanted the textbook open at the same time, you could do that. I really like the ebook because once it's open, it's pretty quick. And it also will have an option to watch videos and do the try it wedged in here. You just have to look for the little symbols. Let me see if I can find it. See, like these little guys, if you click on this, you get yet another tab. but you can get a try it that will look kind of like the homework, but you don't have to go through the hassle of like opening up a homework and having it affect your grade or something like that. So there's try-its, there's videos, there's all kinds of cool things in here, and you can leave that open off to the side. I'm going to do that, and I'm just going to go back to Course Home. So that's the chapter contents, and you can scoot around in there. You don't need to, like if you wanted to go to chapter 3 now, you don't have to open it up from here. You can just go to here and try to, over on this side, there it is, and go to chapter 3 that way. Back to the main menu on MyLabs Plus. You won't see these three, but you will see Multimedia Library. People forget about the Multimedia Library. There's lots of good stuff in here, especially for Chapter 4. So I'm going to go to Chapter 4, and we were looking at 4A. And I always hit Select All because things that you think would be a video, they are saying as a section, lecture, and they have it sometimes not labeled the way one might think. So I can hit Find Now, and I get everything about this. And there's a boatload of videos in here. So about how to talk about credit card interest, how to take control of your finances, all these different examples that you have. And it has this for every single one. It's particularly useful for Chapter 4, which is the last one that last chapter we're going to look at in this course, because this textbook has a very specific way of approaching it, and in order for the verbiage to be the same, you know, for the examples to sound like what you're looking at in your homework, I really rely on these more than anything else. But you can see on here that you can have this for any of the chapters or sections. So lots of good stuff in here. Other videos these videos are not posted in Moodle. These are different. And you also have the PowerPoints. These PowerPoints would be a tiny, tiny bit different because I tend to update mine just a little bit. Not always, but sometimes. Last thing on here that we're going to look at is Skills for Success. Again, this is not required, like the study plan is not required, but there's some pretty interesting things in here about having a growth mindset. You might have heard some of this in ACA, if you took ACA 122. College success, maybe you're like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to manage my time for this course, and you can look over some of these things. Again, this is all optional. All right, so when you first log in, just one more time, if I go to Course Home and it kind of looks like this for you, you are probably 95% of the time going to course assignments. This is where all the homework is. After you're done with your homework, you're probably going to check out what your grade is. That's My Grades. If you want to look something up, that's chapter contents. That's everything that's in MyLabs Plus. That's all that you're going to do in here. Once you get used to it, you're going to like it. And I hope that helps you figure out how to use MyLabs Plus.